Dear students, so this presentation introduces you to the course Understanding the Self. So the subject Understanding the Self consists of 3 chapters. The first chapter is the self from various perspectives, and it consists of 5 lessons. The first one is the self from philosophical perspective. It deals with different perspectives given by different philosophers. Lesson 2 focuses on the self from sociological perspective. Lesson 3 deals with the self from the anthropological perspective, while Lesson 4 self focuses more on psychological perspective, and lastly, Lesson 5, the self from Western and Eastern thoughts. Chapter 2 is entitled Unpacking the Self. It consists of Lesson 6 to 11. Lesson 6 deals with physical self, while Lesson 7 focuses on the sexual self, including sexually transmitted infections and method of contraception. Lesson 8 we will discuss about material or economic self, while Lesson 9 we are going to deal with the spiritual self. Lesson 10 focuses on the political self, while Lesson 11 we are going to discuss the digital self. The last chapter, chapter 3, is entitled Managing and Caring for the Self. It includes lesson 12 to 14. Lesson 12 deals with learning to be how to become a better student. Lesson 13 we are going to discuss how to set goals for success, and lesson 14 focuses on taking charge on one's health, which is very relevant in our situation at present. So part of our introduction is to give an overview of the subject, understanding the self. So it facilitates the exploration of the issues and concerns regarding self and identity to arrive at a better understanding of one's self. So meaning to say, through the course of this study, we are going to discuss different aspects and perspective of self from different point of view, which revolves in understanding self and identity. So to identify self from identity, let us first discuss the meaning of self. Self is the total characteristics or qualities of a person, both known and unknown to others. It also refers to the person that someone normally or truly is. Self is the entire person of the individual and is a unified being essentially connected to consciousness, awareness, and agency. So later on, we are going to compare self to identity, what distinguishes self from identity. Now let's define identity. Identity refers to the qualities, beliefs that make a person or group different from others. It is the distinguishing characteristics of an individual. So meaning to say, it refers to specific qualities. It distinguishes or compares one from another. So meaning to say, identity is a specific characteristics which actually differentiates you from another individual. Okay, to better understand, let us define personality. Etymologically, personality came from the Latin word persona, which means mask, worn by Roman actors to portray characters in Greek drama. So these ancient Roman actors wore a mask
or persona to project a role or a false appearance. At present, what do we mean by personality? So, personality presently is defined as individuals' unique pattern of thoughts, feelings, and action people display over time and across situation, and that also distinguish individuals from each other. In addition to that, the simplest definition of personality is the sum total characteristics, qualities of an individual, and it has several aspects, which includes the physical aspect, mental, social, emotional, moral, and spiritual. Now, if we are going to summarize all this definition of personality, this refers to the self, which pertains to the sum total characteristics of an individual. Now, how about the identity? Identity, we can relate identity to a trait. Why? Because it deals with specific characteristics. Remember, speaking of self, it is the totality of the individual, and identity refers to specific characteristics of the individual. So therefore, we may refer also the self to personality, while identity may also deal with trait. To give us a better idea on how to understand oneself, let us first have this parable of the pencil. I'm going to read the story about the parable of the pencil, and while reading it, I want you to analyze your personal experiences so that later on you can share to us what particular experience do you have which is relevant to a particular part of the story of this parable of the pencil. Okay, let's begin. In the beginning, the pencil maker took the pencil aside just before putting them into the box. There are 5 things you need to know before I send you out into the world. Always remember them and you will become the best pencil you can be. 1. You will be able to do many great things, but only if you allow yourself to be held in someone's hand. 2. You will experience a painful sharpening from time to time, but you'll need it to become a better pencil. So meaning to say, kailangan talaga natin ma-experience yung painful sharpening in order to become a better individual. In order for the pencil to become more productive, kailangan ng sharpening from time to time. 3. You will be able to correct any mistakes you might make. Yes, because there are some pencil with erasers and they are capable to correct their mistakes. 4. The most important part of you will always be what's inside. Yes, of course, because without the lead, the pencil will be useless. It cannot function anymore. It cannot function. It cannot serve its purpose, which is to write without the lead inside. 5. On every surface you are used on, you must leave your mark. No matter what the condition, you must continue to write. The pencil understood and promised to remember them and went into the box with purpose in its heart. Now, replacing the place of the pencil with you, always remember them and never forget, and you will become the best person you can be. Everyone is like a pencil, created by the maker for a unique and meaningful purpose through understanding of the different aspects of yourself. Now, what particular personal experience do you remember which you think is most appropriate to a particular part of this story? Can you share it with us?